Okay, welcome everyone to this brief overview video where I'm going to show you how I've gone about painting a young girl chasing a beach ball in this little beach scene that I've done. So this is really just a very brief overview just to give you a few pointers and tips that might be able to help you with your painting. Now I'm painting on a MDF board. It's an 8 by 10 inch MDF board which I put a coat of gesso on. And what I've done here, you can see on the screen there, I've gone and painted in a really simple little beach sort of scene. And I've done it in such a way where you're not seeing any of the sky at all. It's just all the water. So I'm using basically ultramarine blue and yellow ochre, the two colours that I've used there, and a bit of titanium white for the white caps on the waves and so on. As you can see, I've just done it in layers, starting out a bit greener where it's out a bit deeper. As the water's coming towards the sand, it's got a bit shallower to reflecting more of the sky colour, so I've got more blue in there, and then the yellow for the sand. And over the top of that, I've just layered, as I said, some titanium white. The titanium white's got a little tint of yellow ochre in there for a bit of sunlight in the water effect. And I painted that. It probably took me about 15 minutes to paint that, and I let that pretty well dry. So I think I left this for maybe about 4 or 5 days. It dried off completely, and then I came back and I started to work on putting in the little girl chasing her beach ball. So if I go to the next slide here. Okay, so there you can see what I've done there is working off a photo, I've just used some burnt sienna with a little script liner brush and made sure it had plenty of terps in there to keep it nice and loose, the paint. And I've just sketched in where I wanted to go. Again, working off the photo and trying to get the proportions right. So looking at how tall her head is and then working out the height of her overall body, getting that proportion right, and really trying to take up around about a third of the space of the overall painting, I guess is what I was aiming for. So I like the fact that I've got her above the main wave, breaking across there, feet on the sand, putting the shadow in there, and I've tried to capture a bit of motion in her stance, like she's running towards the ball to stop the ball from heading into the water. So that's how I always start out doing people. I find it's the easiest way is to sketch in just an outline using burnt sienna, very thin mix, and just get the overall look and feel right. The body posture and motion and so on. Once I'm happy with that, then what I'll do is start to put in colour, obviously. And working straight off the photo, you can see I've got the dark, sort of, it's a purpley pink in her dress there. And I've got the dark side in there, underneath the hem of her dress. In the folds, I've put that in there. Started working on her flesh tone. You got the shadow down the forearm and the bit of highlight skin on the back of the arm there. Same with the legs. The shadow on the right hand side of this leg, and the leg that's raised, she's getting a bit of sun on the side of her leg there. So just blocking in those big colours, big shapes. At this stage, I've done no other work to the water or the sand, so I haven't changed any of that at all. Bit more colour into the beach ball here. A little bit more anchoring of the shadow and so on, and yeah, that's the stage I think is pretty simple, and it's just really getting those colours in and starting to establish the shapes. And now here's the final photo that I took. I wish I'd taken a couple more, but nevertheless, this gives you a good sort of look. If I just go back one step, there's what it was before, and then there's that next step. Okay, so a couple of things. I've done more detail work into the water, put in a bit more white foam. There's a bit more yellow ochre in the white crashing waves to pick up on the sand effect. There's obviously more detailed work gone into the sand area. Put little rocks and pebbles and things. A bit more white water from where the water's come in and then receded. Worked on the shadows a bit more, just knocked them back a bit by putting some yellow ochre back over the shadows, and highlighted up her arms, along the side of her legs there. A little bit more detail and highlight into the left-hand side of her dress. A little bit more work into her hair and the ribbon, obviously. And what I've done is I picked up some of that yellow ochre and just put it back into the darker side of her dress there, just where you might get some reflected colour off the sand back into the bottom of her dress. So that's a good little exercise to do if you're learning how to paint people. It's a really good little exercise to do. It's quite easy to do. It's something you should have a go at. Use this as a reference if you want. But it makes a great little painting. And more importantly, it's all about that learning those drawing techniques with the brush, and then how do you, put the paint in such a way that creates form and motion and energy into the painting. So hope you've enjoyed that, and if you want to find out more about learning how to paint, drop by our website at freepaintingvideos.com. We have a 5-day video course that teaches you all the basics about learning how to paint, and you're more than welcome to come along and check that out and learn some more about us. My name is Rod Moore. I'm from Moore Art School, MOORE artschool.com. Drop by our website. Love to see you there. And until I speak to you next time, happy painting and cheers for now.